And you know what? There's another wild card out there. We talk about complete teams. We talk about teams that may have needs. Antonio Brown's a week and a half away from being available.
Whoa.
And I just wonder, who's going to make that play. Who's going to do it for reasons that are he makes us better? Who's going to consider doing it for he's going to make that team a hell of a lot better? I'd rather get him on our team instead.
Oh, I mean, listen, he's still, we'll see where it goes. But I wouldn't think Antonio Brown's physical ability's fallen off a cliff or anything. Not to say I'm expecting the superstar we saw 2 years ago or anything like that, but if a team wanted to take that chance, he's certainly going to help your football team as far as what he can do on the field. And then there's teams again like we've talked about where out of these top 6 teams, the Seahawks, they got to be like, all right, well, yeah, okay, can our defense really get that much better, or should we just go all in on offense and make another play for a receiver and just go? We're down to go 40-37 every game. We don't care. That's Antonio Brown, Julio Jones, A.J. Green. If I'm the Seahawks, the Ravens, the Packers right now, I am looking at those guys to see, can I get a trade done to get those guys? Because I feel like I'm in a Super Bowl team, and I just need that one other player to kind of put us over the hump there. I think that's going to be interesting to watch here in the next few weeks.
And last year, the Seahawks reportedly were looking at Antonio Brown at the time that they signed Josh Gordon, and they still have Josh Gordon. He's just not cleared to play. You have to wonder, are the Seahawks thinking about it? And that's where it becomes three-dimensional chess, because if the Seahawks are looking at this possibility and it makes them better, and Tom Brady wants Antonio Brown in Tampa, and Bruce Arians doesn't, and they've got a great array of receivers. But if they're not healthy, right?
Yeah.
Then how do you make the argument we shouldn't have Antonio Brown? If I'm Tom Brady, I'm like, hey, Bruce, I understand that you've got Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and Scotty Miller and we've got Gronk, but every week one of these guys isn't healthy.
I think Bruce is scarred.
Antonio Brown's never injured.
Yeah.
He's scarred from 2 years with Antonio Brown.
Exactly. And probably the other horror stories he heard from Pittsburgh Steelers coaches after he left and all that. So where I think he's heard so many things, he's probably like, I'm not dealing with that.
But you know what? Maybe Bruce Arians can be worn down if he says, hey, Tom, you're responsible for him.
Yeah, that could work.
We'll go get him, but he's your responsibility, and if it doesn't work, it's on you, and you're going to be the one who has to go tell him, get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
You have to keep him in line, and if you don't, you have to tell him, see you later.
Yeah, listen, Tom could probably pull that off. Tom is amazing with the team. He really is. He's got special leadership qualities. That. He really does, and he's obviously bonded with Antonio Brown. Yeah, get him there, put him up in one of the suites in the Jeter household there on Hillsborough Bay, and here we go.
But it is I think intriguing to consider that mindset. Do the Saints get back in it? They brought him in for a workout last year.
Right.
Is he a guy that helps their offense? Do the Packers take a look at him? Is Aaron Rodgers banging on the door saying, hey, one of these other teams is going to sign this guy? I really do think the NFC teams
they are the ones
need him more than the AFC teams because they understand what they're going to be up against when it's the Titans, the Steelers, the Ravens, or the Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I look at the Seahawks and Packers. I just don't think you're going to be able to sit there and depend on your defense. You got to go, all right, the strength is we're going to win with our quarterback, our offense. Just like we saw again on Saturday or Sunday with Green Bay, if the game doesn't fall the right way, they don't have enough weapons to go around, and that's where they need another guy. I will say the Ravens are another team where I saw the comments yesterday. They were talking about the bye week, right? They were going to take time to work on the passing game. 2 weeks ago when they played the Bengals, I felt like they had a game where they kind of were like, we're going to throw, even though we think we can run, we're going to work on the passing game. I like that. They, I think, are another team that needs – I would like to see them dabble in the wide receiver conversation because, again, they get in the playoffs with the Chiefs and the Titans. They're not going to be able to just think we're going to steamroll these teams and run them over. There's no way. The Chiefs got big physical dudes up front. They can hang in there with the Ravens up front, as we've seen. And they can make it, okay, Lamar, you have to pass to beat us. So do the Titans. And that, to me, is going to be the big question about the Ravens. as we get in the playoffs. If somebody slows down that run game, can Lamar and his right arm in that passing game help carrying them over in that one game they need it? And so far, it's been no through the Lamar Jackson era.
And, you know, there was some public jostling by guys like Lamar Jackson and Hollywood Brown, Antonio's cousin, to get Antonio on the team. And I poked around the edges of that a little bit. I don't think that the Ravens really want him.
Doesn't, right.
And I'm not so sure that Lamar and Hollywood aren't just being courteous. Hollywood still has to have a relationship with his cousin. But, you know, the reality is you bring a guy in who's going to want the football. I mean, that you've got to be able to manage a guy who's going to come in and want the football. And when Lamar and Hollywood are so much younger than Antonio and maybe inclined to defer to him, I don't know that that's the right way to go.
Yeah, I get you.
You need a spot like Tampa where Tom Brady, 10 years older plus than Antonio Brown, and has that relationship that they forged very quickly during his limited time in New England. Whatever that relationship is, if Antonio Brown is going to be deferential to Tom Brady, I think that's going to work. Wherever Antonio Brown goes, he needs to be willing to defer. He needs to be on a one-strike situation, and he needs to not feel emboldened to behave the way he did in Pittsburgh or the way he did with the Raiders, because that's one of the reasons why he's in his current predicament, Chris.
Yeah, no, exactly right. I'm hopeful that he's turned his life around and he can maybe get out there and play. It's been a tough situation. It really has, and it's been a little unfair to him in a lot of ways. So we'll see. But, yeah, that's going to be interesting with some teams needy for wide receivers.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.